Big week. How are you going? How are you going with it? So this is a time for us to be releasing the stuck bits inside that might be old trauma that maybe you have already healed, you've already forgiven the person, you've already maybe ended your soul contract with them. But this is about crying the uncried tears that we weren't held or supported to cry back then. And Mercury is in retrograde for another week and a half until February the 18th. It is supporting you and me to really let them out, because if you're feeling flat, down, depressed, exhausted, over it, anything like that, all it's saying to you is that you're feeling the trauma, right? It's saying to you, hey, feel it. Guess what? You're strong enough to feel it, which means you're strong enough to let it out, because you're not your feelings, you're not your trauma, you're not the heaviness, you're not any of it, right? But if you don't let it out, you're gonna stay it, you're gonna become it, and you're going to be vibrating at that level of it. So if you're like me, you might be getting like some days when you're feeling fantastic, and then other days when you're just feeling like far out, and it can just go up and down within the hour as well. So what I'm doing is I am releasing the feelings through movement, right? So we've got, like, if you think about the four bodies, there's the physical body, right? How fit are you physically, right? You probably know that you need to be fit, or you focus on staying fit, right? Then we have the emotional body. And so many people jump this step and they go straight to the mental body, right? Which is like mindset, thinking your way through things, strategy, all of that. Brilliant and needed. Or they go straight to the spiritual, right? And the spiritual is going to be meditation. So if you're finding that you're seeing these posts and they're telling you that, the Galactic Federation are here and the light grid is here, and don't worry, light's happening, and you're just over it, right? You're like, oh my God. You're looking for your light in the light. And I'm going to put it to you, you need to look for your light in the dark, because that's where it is. And it's trapped. There'll be your light trapped in these areas in you that you've held because you weren't safe enough to release. Now they need to come out. So I've been doing something that I always used to do, and I haven't done it for quite a while, which is literally putting on music and dancing to it, right? Just kind of moving my body anywhere I want to, but actively, actually letting it out. So it doesn't sit in here. This is emotional alchemy, right? This is feeling shadow work, right? I teach shadow work, but this is actually getting it out. And it's so funny, isn't it? Like, so many of us we kind of resist it. We're like, you know what, I'll do something else. You know what, I'll figure something else out. But actually, this is what our bodies are needing. And I feel like with Mercury retrograde happening right now, it is literally, it's like it's in our faces. It's kind of going, you cannot keep going holding this. We're going to hold it here so that you actually release it. So this is like the post that I just wrote, right? Which is, are you willing to cry out? Are you willing to shout it out? Are you willing to let it out, to let your lightness back in? And that's where it's easier than holding it in, is actually letting our feelings out. Because you can heal anything, right? That's why us light workers are here. We cannot be broken. That's why we're here, right? We might feel broken. We might look broken at times. I've gone through periods of my life where I'm like, oh my God, but we can never actually be broken, even if we feel it, right? And the reason is it is just impossible. We are particular souls that cannot be broken. And if we focus more on the healing and we focus more on the actual transmutation, then what's happening, we're always going to rise, right? And the one thing I know about human beings is that we always bounce back. So like my hair, big hair. So I hope you're doing really well, and let's just wrap our arms around ourselves and just give ourselves a hug for all the times in the past where we've been smashed, traumatized, kicked, where the dark has actively attacked the light and it's tried to stop the light. So many of us, so many light workers I know we've had more dark than your average bear because we've been actively tried to be stopped. And this is why we cannot be broken. We've had all the training, we've had it, we've done it. So whatever is going on in the outside world, we're like, yeah, well, I had my narcissist. So the global narcissistic stuff, yeah, I'm good. I can deal with it. It doesn't mean we're not going to go down. It just means that we know how to bring ourselves back up. And it means that I feel right now that we've got this perfect portal window thing, and it's for us to say, let it out. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you are weak. It doesn't mean that you're losing it. It doesn't mean that you are anything. It just means that you are actually strong enough today to let everything out. And the minute we let our anger out, our power comes rushing in. The minute we let our fear out, the groundedness, the peaceness can come rushing back in. Literally, our feelings right now, they just want us to be felt. They just want to be felt, right? And so I feel very strongly that our light is not going to be in another meditation. It's not going to be in doing yoga. It's not going to be in any of that completely and utterly. I feel like right now, our light is actually in the dark, and it's through feeling and being willing and being brave enough to process these feelings that are coming up for us right now. Some of them might be collective, some of them might just be to do with us, but it doesn't actually really matter. It's like wherever it's from, if it's sitting in my body, if it's sitting in your body, we just have to get it out. And that's why our body is showing it to us. We have to listen, right? The minute that we feel bad, sad, low, exhausted, depressed, tired, whatever, it's like, okay, I'm gonna clear you out. And for so many of us, we've done it all, but this is the last bit. And the physical is often the last bit to change, isn't it? Right? We've got all the energetics, and the body usually follows the energy, and it's the last thing to let out. So yes, you can let your feelings out doing some things, but unless you really shout, you're not going to open your throat chakra, right? Unless you really cry, you're not going to be really opening up all those beautiful channels. It has to be a physical release. So many of us avoid that, and yet the stupid thing is, and I'm the same, right? I teach this, I've written my book on it, but the thing is that the minute we start to do it, it feels better and better and better and better. Anyway, I've recorded a podcast on this. It's going to come out on Wednesday, and it just goes into a lot more detail so that you can just be really held during this particularly tough time. All my love to you.